Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Chambers. Everyone who's accompanied department head who've come to our meeting this evening. Thank you for being here. I'm going to call the meeting to order with roll call.
Jonathan Anna.
Here.
Ben Vitale.
Present.
Tom Winslow.
Present.
Bob Shea.
Present.
Hans Petcher.
Here.
Mark Strong.
Here.
Heidi Nightingale.
Present.
Elaine Daly.
Here.
Stephanie DeVito. Yeah. Brian Muldrow.
Here.
Aileen McNabb Coleman.
Present. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You could remain standing. Please add to your intentions a prayer for the family and friends of Paul Sedor. He was a former legislator who passed away January 13th. He served for 15 years in the county legislature, so we'd like to take some time to pray for him today. Thank you. There is no public hearing this evening. Nor are there any proclamations to present this evening. So we're going to move right on to the presentation. Have the City of Auburn here to do a presentation about the expansion of Auburn City Courts. Christina Selvik, I believe, is here.
Oh, yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Should pick up from just the audio inside the room.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much to the legislature for hosting the City of Auburn presentation on our progress to date for the Auburn City Courts expansion project. I am Christina Selvik. I'm the Director of Capital Projects for the City of Auburn. I do want to recognize that we do have in attendance City Manager Taggart, Mayor Giantino, and Tim Brennan from our Corporation Council office. So who's actually going to be giving the presentation tonight? We have with us Dan Wilson from Thaler Riley Wilson. They are our project architects, and they will be getting you caught up to speed with what we've worked on over the last year and what we hope to accomplish this year into construction. So I will give the floor then to Dan.
Dan, we have a
Okay.
clicker here.
I was gonna ask
Kinda,
how
yep,
we do that.
right.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Dan Wilson from Thaler Riley Wilson Architecture and Preservation. And as Christina said, we're here to give you an update on where we are with the renovation to the Auburn City Courts. If you're not familiar, it's within one of the county-owned buildings, the old post office. So, and there's a picture of it right there. Go. So to give you some idea on who we are as a firm, we're a firm that specializes in the renovation, preservation, adaptive reuse of historic buildings. So this is why this project is particularly in our wheelhouse, because of the historic nature of the old post office. It is a national land, it's on the National Register of Historic Places. But also we are keenly and uniquely involved with projects like this because we also have a lot of experience in courthouse design. For example, we're currently working with Ontario County on their court facilities, and we're currently building the Greene County Courthouse Annex. So this is the stuff that we do all the time. We work a lot with the State Historic Preservation Office and the New York State Office of Court Administration. And also one of our largest client sectors is municipal clients. So where we are up to date so far is we went to the building, we did all of our existing condition documentation. This is an image here of a photogrammetry of the first floor where the city court is. We completely scanned the building, drew up the existing floor plan, did a condition analysis, and then worked a lot with the city and county and Office of Court Administration to do programming to figure out the best way to utilize and renovate the space. We finished schematic design, which is roughly about 30% of the contract documents. And we recently finished design development in 60% of the documents. What we have next is pre-bid or construction documents. And then we're gonna go out to bid and then start construction. So there was some changes to the scope of work. Originally, the scope of work, we were just concentrating on roughly half of the floor plate for the first floor that the city court occupies. That was actually the old Wicks office. I don't know if you're familiar with it. But what we ended up having to do, and what we were going to include, was just a public waiting area, a second courtroom, and then a new toilet facility and some ancillary spaces related to the courtroom, which usually you have to have a judge's chamber, jury's deliberation room, and things like that. However, once we did our programming and condition analysis, we realized that that really doesn't work for the court. If we just concentrated on that one slice, that one side of the building, it didn't address some problems that the building was having as a whole. And that's not just for the city court, but how the county used the building. There was some real issues there. So we made the determination we need to deal with this now. And so there is functions in this project that involve just the city work, but it also involves county work. So one of the things that we did have to do is, in addition to the program space, we did have to move the drug treatment court to a different location. That kind of expanded our scope. The other thing we had to do was, that didn't change, that we had to modify the court clerk area. And also we had to redesign the secure holding area because that didn't meet current OCA standards. And finally, one of the bigger things that we had to do was we had to renovate the current bathrooms. Public bathrooms that serve both city and county functions were not code compliant. One of the bigger issues that we did have from a security standpoint is that currently the secure holding room does not have a separate bathroom for prisoners. So they were taking prisoners and having them use the public bathroom. So in this new project, they'll have their own bathrooms and we'll renovate the public bathrooms that are used by everyone in the building, both city and county people. So here's a existing floor plan. And if I had a way to point, I would show you where the original scope was, but essentially we're working on almost all of the first floor. So I'll just kind of go through and show you different components. So the very first and the most important thing, where the Wicks area was located, this is where we're going to put the second courtroom. And the second courtroom includes a jury deliberation room and everything that it needs with it, with its own private toilet facilities. Then to really help with security, we are developing this secure corridor so that the prisoners they don't have to intermingle into the public hallway. So that corridor you see there connects the new secure holding rooms with the existing courtroom and the new courtroom. And in between this area is the judge's chamber for the new courtroom, the visiting judge's chamber, and the county attorney's office. And then as part of this, we're renovating the security office, the sheriff's office. We are now required to have separate men's and women's locker rooms for the security group and their own private office area. And that's right off of the main lobby area checkpoint. Then up here is with the new location for the drug treatment center. We had to move them out because some of their offices were where the new courtroom is being located. And then when we did that, that impacted the county city court clerk. So we had to renovate that. So you can see it's almost like a domino effect. Once we change one thing and move somebody, so we kind of have a little scope creep on this project because of that. And then once we move the visiting judge, not the visiting judge, the second judge's chamber to the new office, then we could have appropriate jury deliberation room for the existing courtroom and a good judge's chamber for the existing courtroom. And then finally, upgrading and renovating the bathrooms, the public bathrooms that serve the whole facility so that it's a code compliant facility. So that's what the new floor plan looks like. And this just is a color rendering of showing the different departments and different groups that are using the facility. And here's just a rendering of what the new courtroom will look like. Here's another rendering of what it's going to look like. So the project goals was, as in all of these types of projects, we're always trying to, I say, put 10 pounds of things in a 5-pound bag because we're working in the constraints of an existing building. Not only are we working on the constraints of the existing building, but it's a historic building. So we need to work within the historic fabric. We can't modify historic fabric. So it's always tight of programming to fit as much as we can in a tight area while making the building meet current life safety and accessibility codes and also meet in the Office of Court Administration requirements for a properly functioning court facility. The other thing that in court facilities that we always have to do is minimize disruptions because the courts don't close. They're open all the time. So we have to work within and work with the court facilities so that there is a phasing plan. So we will not be taking this courtroom offline. So we have to kind of work on one area, get that finished, move people to that area to work on the other areas. The other thing that we always do with any municipal project is we always try to design it for a 30-year life expectancy. Because usually that's, this project I don't think is being bonded, but this is usually the goal that we have so that we come in, you get it done, and it's done in a quality way that you won't have to hopefully touch it for 30 years. And the other big component is controlling costs. These are the things that we all strive for in every project. We've done a construction cost estimate based on it. And initially, the total project is just under $3 million. And out of that, a portion of that is we're hoping that the county funds a portion of that. Because as you know, the city is a tenant in a county building. The county is the landlord. And so there was a couple of things, infrastructure improvement that the county we're hoping to take on. And that included around $400,000 for the new mechanical system for the space. I think that was something that was already planned before we were involved. There is, like any existing and historic buildings, hazardous material, some asbestos and other things. So there's about $120,000 in hazardous material abatement. And then the restroom renovation is around $153,000. Again, that restroom isn't just for the city courts, it's for the whole building, and the county occupies the second floor. And then the $150,000, because it's related to the shell of the building, for the exterior window restoration and interior storms, because the windows do need to be repaired. So that's kind of the breakdown. The rest of that is being funded by the city, and those components are being funded, or hopefully is being funded by the county. And then this is the overall schedule, some key upcoming dates. By the end of next month, so the end of February, we're hoping to have the construction and bidding documents done, so we can go out to bid, and then have the bids received in late March. And then after going through all the procurement process and stuff, hopefully have the bid awarded in early May, so they can start construction in mid-May and go on to and can be in construction until the end of the year, where we're tentatively scheduling for mid-December for substantial completion. So that's it. That's all I have. I don't know if you want me to take any questions or anything.
I'm going to open it up if any of the legislature has any questions of this presentation. Something we have discussed now and in years past. Excited to do it, partner with the city on this.
Right. All right, well, there's nothing. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, up next, we have privilege of the floor. I don't know if you have any. At this point, anyone who's here from the public who can,
I have,
okay.
I have, two. And, Bill Berry, who, you wanna go to the podium, Bill?
Thank you. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 2 minutes.
Bill Berry, 77 South Street, Auburn, New York, 13021. Greetings to the Cayuga County Legislature. History remains a diverse, complex, challenging, and transformative concept. History is the documentarian of our past, all too often shaped by who the storyteller is and what an institutional entity wants to publicly achieve. History defines who we are as an individual, as well as a member of some group, and it is critical for us to accept the past as it actually happened. We know that on January 1, 1863, Proclamation 95, an executive order was issued during the Civil War by President Abraham Lincoln. This proclamation freed enslaved people in Confederate states, states committed to preserving the economic benefits of slavery. We know that on June 19, 1865, in Galveston, Texas, a rebel state, Union troops were finally able to inform enslaved people that the Civil War was over. They were free. Slavery had finally ended in America. Juneteenth freedom finally unleashed decades of pent-up determination, courage, perseverance, faith, and hope. Freedom instilled the right to protest, to challenge, to make decisions, to travel wherever you wanted to go, safeguard your wife and children, keep them safe from harm. It gave Galveston, Texas Africans a new reality for people whose daily lives were defined by the day-to-day master's whip, watching families torn apart and realizing that each day an enslaved person would be used in the same manner as any farm animal. Juneteenth freedom meant that the shackles and chains of slavery were unlocked. That freedom served as a national legacy that will always drive the meaning of Juneteenth. We know holidays enable us to recognize an event that defines national character and purpose, events that define us as a collective people with shared dreams and aspirations. We know New York State sanctioned Juneteenth as a state holiday in 2021, as did the city of Auburn. Regardless of the reason for the county's delay, as a unified community, we need to memorialize that single event in Galveston, Texas, the end of slavery for enslaved people in America. Now, late to the party is always better than never showing up. The enslaved in Texas gave us that legacy, gave us that marching order. They never gave up. I am asking this legislature to honor the legacy and dignity of Juneteenth distinction and history and establish a holiday that is drenched in bravery, courageous spirit, determination, and that freedom spirit that has passed down from one generation to the next. As a collective body, take the step in institutionalizing our shared national legacy, and in doing so, teach our children and grandchildren that history belongs to everyone. It is not his story or her story, but our story as a shared community. Thank you.
The other, privilege for another person in my district is Dr. Rhoda, Overstreet Wilson, Councilwoman, Dr. Rhoda Overstreet.
Thank you. Your name and address?
Dr. Rhoda Overstreet Wilson, 181 Woodlawn Ave, Auburn, New York. I want to say good evening tonight to the county legislature and to all those in their respective positions, the community members that are here to witness an opportunity. King Solomon said, without vision, men perish. Tonight's placing of the idea that Juneteenth could be that Juneteenth could be celebrated as a holiday in Cayuga County wasn't anything that I thought in my lifetime. It wasn't anything that I thought maybe even in my children's lifetime. But I will say to the history makers of this current legislative body, Legislature Muldrow, Madam Chair, being first is never easy. So placing this resolution on the floor and you be in charge of the conversation that is going to precede that will be with you for the rest of your lives. So I also ask, as Bill Berry did, if this legislature would please have the courage to not only discuss Juneteenth as a holiday, but pass Juneteenth as a holiday. I would like to tell my grandchildren that I was in that meeting when it was passed. I would like my great-grandchildren to know that their great-grandmother was in that meeting in this room when it passed. I also want to say that vision gives us an opportunity. And tonight is an opportunity for everyone to come together collectively and discuss what vision our great Cayuga County can have. We live in a time where we cannot waste time to make change. We live in a time where we cannot wait for other people to make change. We live in a time where we need to take the reins and make that change. Again, please, not only have the discussion about Juneteenth being a holiday, but have the courage to pass it. Thank you.
Thank you. Legislator Daley or
You want-
Legislator DeVito?
Yep. I'd like to call Bob Janis, please.
State your name and address, Mr. Janis.
Yeah, I'm Bob Janis. I live at 25 Chestnut Street here in Auburn, New York, in Stephanie's district. Stephanie, thank you for recognizing me. I got three things I want to do today. First, I want to say thank you to Aileen for her leadership during the roofing disaster. It's almost like you have experience leading during a disaster, and I definitely appreciate your leadership. Thank you. I also want to say congratulations to all of you who were elected, whether it's the first time or you're returning. As you know, I'm the president, maybe you don't know, I'm the president of the county CSEA unit. If you have any questions for me, you can reach me anytime. My cell phone number's 315-246-0965. I do have business cards with my contact information on it if you want when I'll be around. Finally, I did want to also say something about Juneteenth. I'm encouraging everybody here to vote yes. Not only is it going to be good for the members of CSEA, it's also going to be good for all my brothers and sisters in the community. And I want to make it clear, a no vote on this does not send a message of inclusion. So when you vote on this, I want you to think about that and think of what you're saying. Thank you. Have a great night.
Legislator Daley?
I'd like to recognize Jason Meyer with privilege of the floor.
Hi. How's everyone?
Good.
How are you?
I'm all right. Thanks for asking. Welcome to the new legislators. I've never met some of you and some of you I have. Before I get started, I want to say that first and foremost, I'm a father of two daughters. They're 19 and 17. That's first and foremost. And everyone to understand that. Second of all, this is a new year, right? 2024. 2023 was not a good year for Wally. That's me. I had a lot of bumps in the road and I kind of wanted to expand on that a little bit, if I may. So for those of you that don't know what an advocate is, I thought I knew what an advocate was. I thought I was an advocate and I thought I was a diplomat. I'm obviously not a diplomat. It was hard to learn. I didn't know what that meant even, you know, it sounds crazy, but I'm not one. I'm an advocate. So an advocate is, the role of an advocate is to offer independent support to those who feel they are not being heard and to ensure they are taken seriously and that their rights are respected. It is also to assist people to access and understand appropriate information and services. An advocate will ensure a person has the tools to make an informed decision. It is not about making the decision for the person. It is also about supporting the person to say what they want, even if other people consider that they are making an unwise decision. That being said, for the last 11 years, I've worked as an advocate in this community and 3 other communities across central New York. I've spent a lot of time in ERs, and to give you an example of what that means is I wake up every morning and I read something from the mental health hygiene law. I read something about OASIS regulations, and I try to learn something new every day about what goes on within the system so that I can advocate effectively in any platform, to include the jail, to include the courthouse, to include the hospital, to include outpatient, to include inpatient, here, there, wherever. And I've been pretty effective at it. And what that means is I've been so effective at it that my career has been put on the line. And that's what's happened in the last year. And so I'm asking legislature tonight to start over. I'd like to start over and look at things a little bit different. I'd like to be an asset to the community rather than an ass to the community, right? If that makes sense. I don't mean to sound, out of line, but it's kind of, how I feel. I feel like I've done a lot of work here. I feel like I've put in my time here. I feel like I've given my all here, and I've helped save a lot of lives and put people in recovery, active recovery, sober, what have you. And there are a lot of people in this room that I've helped their family. So I came here tonight. I wrote a 4-page letter. By the way, thank you for letting me come up here. I wrote a 4-page letter and I threw it in the garbage because I didn't think that it was going to be effective saying all the things that have happened to me in the last, 11 years or 2 years or whatever year. I just want to start over new. I just want to start over new and do something different and work harder for the community while I'm here and do good stuff and work with everybody. And if that can happen, then I won't be the ladder, I'll be the set. And I want that. I want to be an asset as I go out of here. And if there's any questions for that, but also quiet. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Any other members have?
One more.
Oh.
Asian district.
Oh, yes, Ted Freeman.
Thank you. Welcome. Please
Thank you.
state your name and address.
Yes. My name is Ted Freeman, 24 Foot Street, Auburn, New York, 13021. Madam Chair, August legislators. Before I start, my hero, Elaine Bailey.
Oh, no.
And let me explain why she's my hero.
I'd like to hear that.
Yes.
Interrupt the public to be heard.
I want it on the record too.
Okay.
Her commitment to the less fortunate, her efforts to work and be unseen, her devotion to make things better for this community, I've marveled at. And I just want to say publicly, thank you.
I didn't even set this up or pay him for it.
And you provide me inspiration.
Thank you very
So
much.
thank you. Here to speak on Juneteenth. My good friend and colleague, Mr. Barry, eloquently laid the foundation for you to understand why this is so important. Our first female member of the African American community, Dr. Overstreet Wilson, told you how important it is for us to regain our position really in this country. As a historian and being sent back home to gather all of our history together, it's important for us to take this opportunity to make it complete. People come to our community because they can't understand why Harriet Tubman Davis came here. She didn't come here because it was the biggest Black population. She came here because it was a united population. The gathering of oneness, white and Black individuals coming together, working together. The only place in America where she could be safe was Auburn, New York, Cayuga County, this region. And that oneness we created, we lost. And we started separating ourselves along lines that are not our nature. And now we're beginning to look and work and motivate ourselves to come back together as one. Not a divided community, but a community that believes in the oneness of our greatness. Not only that, Councilwoman Overstreet Wilson mentioned this new era of first. I am so happy for all of it. I'm so happy to see what is taking place because everything that needed to be integrated starting over 60 years ago, I integrated in this town. Not in a hostile manner, but in a manner of we're together. And that philosophy must be continued. It must be continued with your effort tonight to unify that last piece. Because when Harriet Tubman Davis' husband went to Texas to tell those folks that they were free, there were people being placed in Fort Hill Cemetery who were white and Black that had died for that belief that all men and women were created equal. Everything this country stands for has emanated from here. And we have forgotten our own history. But we're rekindling it. And tonight, you have the opportunity to say to many young folks who are walking our streets in this county right now that are of mixed heritage. It may have a white parent and a black parent or a Hispanic parent. Why do I have to divide myself? Why do I have to? No, no longer. We stand as one. We gather as one. We live as one. We will thrive as one. This is our home. My people, there's nobody in here been here longer than my folks. Nobody. This is our home. And we will keep it, and we will keep it growing together in oneness. Thank you for the time.
Any other members of the legislature have anyone in their district requiring privilege of the floor? Close the privilege of the floor. Minutes to approve. We have December 12th, 14th, and January 2nd, 2024. Can I get a motion? Second. Any discussion on those minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Those are carried. Thank you. On the agenda, you'll see the appointments and reappointments for Office of the Aging Advisory Committee, Fire Advisory Board, Parks Commission, and the Cayuga County Industrial Agency. And those are listed in the front, in this very front page of the agenda, which I said they would be, but they're here again. For communications and announcements, we have nothing to report. Next in our agenda, we have Cayuga Community College report with Dr. Durant. I'm not sure if he's with us.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
We can, thank you.
Yeah, good to be with you. Apologize for not being in the chambers tonight. Certainly look forward to working with the new sitting legislature as we look ahead for this year and beyond. You know, the college today, coincidentally, we're starting the start of our spring semester. It's certainly nice to be able to be back in the full swing and continuing what I would say is the momentum of back to what felt like normalcy. More vibrancy on the Fulton and Auburn campus, people balancing out their online studies with in-person, and certainly continuing to be focused on, you know, moving ahead on our goals and objectives for this year. An update on our capital projects that are in process. The Fulton Police Academy is making progress. We've been able to award most of the bids associated with the construction to be able to move ahead on that timeline, to be able to hopefully still be on pace to open that later on this year. Being able to bring that academy not only forward, but also to be able to bring opportunities for our students to utilize the space in a multitude of ways, not only engaging in police training activities, but also in law enforcement, but also related to other mixed uses that facility will be able to bring for our students that we're looking forward to. The Workforce Development Center on Grand Avenue continues to make great progress. Much of the construction that was awarded to be externally completed is nearing its final stages. and we're beginning to move through some of the other finishing work that mostly will be done by our in-house staff. That was always the design and the plan as we move ahead, and certainly continue to work with the Office of Employment and Training, Department of Labor, OGS, and others to work through the details for the upcoming transitions that will occur. I certainly want to take a moment and thank the openness that, you know, our partners and Kelly King and many others that have certainly Cornell Cooperative Extension with the patience in the process, but also the opportunity in front of us, I think is one that's important. And I think that the vision that we can have for the utilization of this building for our workforce, certainly for economic development, I think it's still in front of us, but it's something that I'm looking forward to being able to be engaged in conversations once the physical plant is completed. I also want to make mention, you know, recently there was some news coverage of the college related to our accreditation, the Middle States Commission of Higher Education, asking us to provide an updated report related to enrollment. And hopefully it was clarified within the article itself. I want to just mention that the requirement for us to respond was something that is relatively routine if a college at some point has hit certain metrics. There could be a metric related to finance. That is not one that triggered our actual response. The college's finances have been stabilized. They have been rebuilt over the last 9 years. We have a healthy fund balance, and we've been living within our means for a number of years while trying to be agile, while creating new programs and investing in our future to position us in the best way possible. Aside from that, though, you know, if you have an enrollment drop in a particular year or two over, I think it's 10 or 15%, Middle States wants to check in and make sure, and appropriately so, by the way. They want to make sure that if you've had a sudden decline, you know, how is that impacting the college? What is the college thinking about that? What is the college doing to address the concern, and what circumstances or reasons may there not be? The years in question in which that it happened in such a decline were related to some of the times during peak COVID. I'm not here to make any excuses. I'm addressing the facts. I've stated for years, both with our college trustees, community leaders, and others, you know, when there's a decline in our school growing population, there's a decline in the ages, of multiple of ages across our service areas, then it's obviously going to have a relationship with our prospective student base and perhaps again with our enrollment. The things we look at most is, are we continuing to capture students from graduating high schools at a similar rate that we always have? Are we looking at ways to be able to address adult learners and try to provide more pathways for completion? Are we looking at our workforce alignment? We continue to do so. I certainly agree we can do better, but the reality of it is, and I tell this to our college and I'll say this proudly anywhere, the size of our institution will never define our greatness. We're going to continue to be focused on trying to make sure that we're creating pathways that appeal to students, that we'll be able to create pathways to workforce, and certainly the transfer articulations that we built. We have a number of initiatives that we're focused on that we think will continue to make us an attractive place of choice and try to capture more of our local students. But, you know, our new strategic plan, our work of our trustees, our talented faculty and staff, you know, I'm confident in what we're doing and what we're trying to work towards. And I believe that we'll continue to show our outcomes, whether it's a larger institution or just our success rate, they'll continue to improve to be able to show people the quality of the organization that we have and that I'm certainly proud of and privileged to serve. So I just wanted to make sure that you, the legislature, know that, you know, we're certainly aware of it. I take it seriously. It's something that I would never be anything but factual and direct about. But I can tell you this, I'm proud of our institution. I feel great about the students we serve and the success stories that I hear daily about what people are able to achieve after they've you know, attended our institution. It's powerful and inspiring. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Dr. Durant? Concerning Community College. Question, Legislator Nightingale?
Hi, Dr. Durant. This is Heidi Nightingale. This is really a comment. I think that community college education, the opportunity for young people to be educated right within their communities and then move on to other things with that foundation from the community college is so important, and that your efforts to diversify and create a robust curriculum, to move things, even into what has happened with satellite campuses is commendable. I think there's complications around attendance that are out of everybody's control. Some of that is just demographics. If you ask high school teachers right now around the county, they are teaching fewer high schoolers. There may be a little more happening in the elementary schools, but there's been a drop. And I'm sure you recognize those things that are out of your control. I appreciate your report and appreciate your keeping our community college on the radar.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Legislator Vitale?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Durant. I'd like you to ask you to make a comment regarding the enrollment, if it's affected or how it affects by the a lot of the high school students now are participating in classes that are through the college, getting college credit while they're still in high school. You know, just asking if you could make a comment if and how this affects your enrollment numbers and so forth.
Yeah, I really appreciate the question, and I think it's a great one because I promise everyone I will not go on too long, but this is the passion area of mine. Concurrent enrollment, dual credit, which is what we're referring to here, is when we're offering a number of college classes in each of the respective high schools that provide opportunities for learners as early as 9th grade to be able to earn college credit. That's also going to be counting towards their high school completion while they're in high school, which, you know, as indicated there. So that means when students are graduating high school, some individuals may have 12 credits, 25 credits, 30 plus credits, depending on how it aligned with their interests and how it aligned to fit in with their other degree requirements. So certainly what happens with that is if twofold thing, right? If a student has 30 college credits while earned in high school and they come to Cayuga, then they're only going to have hopefully 1 year of study to be able to earn an associate's degree and move on. The other issue that can happen with that, of course, is it can result in individuals who perhaps have taken enough courses, maybe they'd be in a position to leave in an off year and maybe decide to not go to the community college at all. The way I look at it, though, it's really twofold, and I think it's key. Number one, nearly 2,000 of our students, our head count, are enrolled in a respective high school somewhere within the component school districts of primarily Cayuga and Oswego County, but sometimes and some in other fringes as well. That's a significant number of our student body and one that we're proud of. So in the way that I look at that, though, is we're only capturing a small percentage overall of those students to ever enroll in the community college. Many of those students have the identity right away that they want to go right to a 4-year school and pursue their degrees toward the bachelor's or master's degrees beyond. And one of the top strategic goal that we're working on right now, this is why it's a convenient question, is our goal is to try to come up with the pathways for 3-year bachelor's degrees for those students who are earning a significant amount of high school credits to try to encourage more to come to us in their pursuit of a bachelor's degree. And that way we can be on a seamless accelerated 3-way pathway. And we're working with our academic leaders on creating these pathways. Just recently, I met with the local superintendents to talk about the things we want to roll out and work with our partners and all the component districts. It's an exciting thing because when students are taking dual credit classes, not only are they getting ahead on the possible college, not only are they earning their opportunity to perhaps get dual credit for high school and college at the same time, but I think they're creating a tremendous amount of value and leverage that can save them money and accelerate their learning beyond high school. And some may not even realize the power they're creating for themselves. And it's our job as the college, our job as the leaders in K-12 to be able to show parents and families what that value they've created, hopefully entice them to do a 1-year stop with us to be on a pathway towards a bachelor's degree. It's one of our top enrollment priorities, and we hope to continue to roll it out over the next year.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions for Dr. Durant? Hey, thank you so much, Dr. Durant, for joining us tonight.
Thank you, everyone. Be well.
Before we move on, well, I was happy the appointments were listed. We didn't vote on those, so let me go back. Can I get a motion on appointments and reappointments?
I'll second.
Made the motion. Any discussion on these? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? They are carried. Thank you. Up next on the agenda, committee reports or individual legislative reports. Senator Daly?
I just wanted to address the committee or to the legislature tonight. As the new chair of Ways and Means, and I have big shoes to fill, right, Hans? And at the first Ways and Means meeting, I did share some of my thoughts with the committee, and the chair did ask if I would go over just a few of those tonight. Our county budget has significantly grown, and the size of our government has also seen increases. Our 24 budget, we have used $7.3 million of our fund balance to balance our operating budget, and it's the largest fund balance use I can remember. In the past, we haven't used the fund balance that we've dedicated to our budget. I think the year before it might have been 3 million. But this year, our budget director feels that we will use at least 3 million of that 7.3 million or 7.3 million. In 2022, our sales tax will come in about $1.5 million over our 23 budget, but our sales tax is leveling off, and we don't anticipate these huge growths in sales tax. We've kept property taxes increases low for the last 3 years. I think it was 0, 1, and 2. And certainly that hasn't kept up with the county growth. The county has a lot of mandated costs. We all know that. And last year we spent more in mandated areas than we had budgeted. We exceeded the budget in emergency housing, in the safety net caseload, in the assigned counsel program, in our jail expenses, and our mental health competency evaluations that the county's required to pay for. As we close our 2023 budget, we will get a sense of where else we went over in those lines, and myself and Aileen will be reviewing those and bringing that information back to share. As the year progresses, we will continue, obviously, to monitor our sales tax. We'll do the best we can to get 2020 budget performance reports so that we can get a sense of where we're going. But honestly, though, and I think everyone would agree, it's never easy to correct the course if things start to go south. So that's why we need to work together. We need to take a critical look at all that we do. No one wants to be in a position where we have to significantly raise taxes, cut staff, or services. We need to maintain a healthy fund balance to make needed investments in our capital projects and to cover emergencies that come up. I think too, our investment in economic development is also essential.
Thank you, Legislator Daly. Any other legislative reports or individual or committee reports? None, okay. Up next, the chair report. Speaking of committee reports, I want to thank all the new committee chairs for your work this month. For a lot of you, a few of you, it's very new. You did a great job preparing yourselves. I really like the model that we have established here to meet in chambers, to talk on more of an open basis and have more dialogue in our committees. So I appreciate all of your hard work and your thoughtfulness that you've put into the committees, and I look forward to working with you for the rest of this year. I want to also start by saying thank you to many people. We had this roof emergency, which was completely unexpected and a little bit surprising, that I had resumed chair and then the roof came off. So that was fun. At first I would like to thank Shireen Androsco. Shireen was instrumental in making sure that all the operations here ran smoothly. We definitely needed you during the COVID crisis. you are a very valuable member to the leadership on the sixth floor, and I appreciate all that you did for that. Other folks I want to say thank you to, our county sheriff did an incredible job keeping everyone updated. I was texting and calling him late in the evening that night when this all occurred. Our 911 dispatchers, you may have seen some posts floating around. They did an incredible job responding to the emergency across the county. We are forever in your debt. You just get to work, you don't complain, and you just get it done. So we appreciate you. Our EMO, I saw Riley was here, but now he's gone. They also were right in the mix early on as well. County Highway, I know you did a lot with tree removal and helping establish our roads and clear the way. We really appreciate you. Our Building and Grounds Director, Gary Duckett, I don't know if Gary's here, left, maybe in the other room. Gary did a wonderful job, got right on site, and then all of his maintenance staff did an incredible job. County IT also did an incredible job. We had some bit of destruction in this room and another caucus room. He quickly removed the cables. He was able to cut down the electricity running into this room and save this equipment. So he did an incredible job. Also to all of the county office building departments that were temporarily displaced. So we had closed the county office building. We are no stranger to having to close in an emergency. We were a little bit better prepared this time around than we were in 2020. I appreciate everyone who operated on their COOP plans, their continuity of operations plans. You did an incredible job. Thank you so much for making continuing our services, making that all go smoothly, and you all did it with a smile on your face. So I appreciate you for that. Along those lines, I do have a little bit of a presentation about what had happened here so that you're all aware. So you can see some of the pictures of this destruction here. So just want to show you, you can move right to the next one. So here you can see, if you caught it in the newspaper, that first picture, you'll see part of the roof was hanging off the front of the building. So this was the roof that was in the south side of the building that had blown to the front. And in that sort of destruction with the windstorm, it pulled up a lot of other pieces of the roof and things were shifted around. So this was definitely problematic. And you can see the debris all over Genesee Street and the side of the building as well. You can move to the next slide. So you can see the clerk's office was the only department to lose a window, which was a little bit shocking, but thankfully they only lost the outer pane of a window. So that was a little, you can get a sense of the destruction there through the window. And then of course, I have a picture of the crane. We were able to establish getting a roofing company on site very quickly, thanks to Gary Duckett and his staff. And they were able, that company was able to get a crane very quickly as well. So it was very welcome opportunity for us to get those repairs underway. And you can move to the next one. Oh yes, so here's a picture of the top of the roof. And the second picture there, you can see the gray material. That is the vapor barrier that was installed on the roof to triage the weather from coming into this building. That had to be sealed. And you can see then the other side is the current roof. Now, raise your hand if you're impressed by that picture. Or not. So this opens up the conversation about the building. So just to talk about the roof repair, this short-term solution, it is a short-term solution. The vapor barrier was the dark gray portion of the roof. It has really only a season-long life. With Gary Duckett, we were equating it to a dozen eggs. They're not going to last that long, and you don't want to eat them after a certain period of time. So that's what that was his idea. So we we cannot rely on that for that very long. So the roof in general has been compromised, has been patched in other areas, but they've just been also a short-term patch. So a new roof will be planned for the spring and summer 2024. Updates will continue to come through the Public Works Committee in the months ahead. And then that brings us to the entire building. You know, we were very lucky, the very fact that this building at one point renovated the 6th floor and did asbestos abatement up here. So when we were having this precipitation come through and some destruction to our roof, we didn't have that concern here. Very lucky that that had been done. Otherwise, we wouldn't be sitting here right now. I am concerned, though, about the rest of the building and the integrity of the roof in the next few months. And then, if it were to disturb other floors in this building, any of this precipitation or further destruction. So we are definitely going to sort of fast track the building renovation project. This month, we have 3 meetings with our architects, and we're going to continue to push this forward. There will be a presentation at the special legislature meeting, February 20th, for Q&A as well. So we can start to talk about what are our options for this building? What does it look like? Let's get the cost estimates and let's get something moving. So that's going to continue this year. So I'm very pleased to report that. And then again, for the thank yous that I started out with. So anyone have any questions about the building specifically or the building process or the roof? The process will move forward. I believe on the building committee, I have Legislator Winslow, Legislator Vitale, and Legislator Daly coming to those meetings to join in with the department heads, other technical help, and our architects firms. So those are going to be starting, I believe, as soon as the second week of February. Next up, I want to talk to you a little bit about economic development. I'm glad that Mayor Giantino is here today. We are having a meeting next week, coming together with the city and talking about economic development goals, talking about the strengths of our area, our areas of need, and where do we go from here. The plans laid out for the development of CETA 15 years ago designed an economic development strategy for Cayuga County at that time. Those times have now changed. And instead of shoehorning a vehicle into a model that we can deal with, we need to talk about what are our goals? What does it look like? What are our expectations? What is economic development going to look like? How do we want it to look? And then develop a vehicle around that strategy. So I have, we've identified some members of both the county, the city, as well as community stakeholders to meet and start having those discussions. So that's going to be upcoming, and I will continue to update the legislature on that. So next month, I will be talking to you about strengthening our operational leadership here at the county. There was much talk during campaign time about what type of leadership we'd like to see at the county. So we will be moving forward.
Keep it tuned here because we've got you covered for tonight's.
Sorry. Sorry that we all stopped and started. So we will be talking about what leadership looks like at the county and then get a path forward for that. So we'll have updates on that next month. We will be meeting, our next ledge meeting will be on a Thursday, February 29th, due to the NISAC meeting that will be occurring in that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of the last week of February. So it'll be on a Thursday on February 29th. And then I'm looking forward to the new committee schedule next month. We will have our committee meetings at 4 o'clock. It's a very welcomed time change that I've heard feedback on from all the department heads, so I'm excited to get that moving. Do you have any questions for me that I can answer? Okay, thank you. So we're going to move on to the resolution. We're going to begin with Ways and Means with Legislator Daly.
Ways and Means had two resolutions this month. One is the authorizing the chair of the legislature to sign contracts with certain agencies, and those are the legislative contracts and the libraries. And Ways and Means 2 is authorizing the end of the year accrual adjustment to the 2023 operating budget. That's pretty standard resolution as well.
So would you like me to offer these as a bundle?
I would.
Okay, I'd like to get a motion on the bundle.
Nightingale, bundle WM 1 and 2.
Second.
Second, Woodrow. Any questions on these? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? They're carried. Thank you. Health and Human Services Legislator Nightingale.
Madam Chair, I have 19 resolutions from the Health and Human Services Committee. Some of them I would like to bundle with explanation. HH1, HH2, HH3, HH10, HH11. I'll turn the page for so many of them. And HH19 are all fills of budgeted positions. So these are vacant positions, budgeted positions, typical fills where our department heads come to us to say, we need this time to look at and to move forward with HR recruitment work. So
I'll move HH 2, 3, 10, 11, and 19.
10, 11, 12.
12, okay.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, not 12. Strike 12 and 19, correct.
Okay, did we get a second on that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion on this bundle? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Those are carried.
HH4, Madam Chair, is a resolution from the Public Health Director to renew the contract between Finger Lakes Dog Protection Agency, Inc. and the County of Cayuga. This is a contract that they have held for many, many years. Not a change in service, not a change in cost.
Can I get a motion for HH4? Make a motion.
Second, Mark.
Hearing any discussion on this? Sorry, I wasn't sure which one to go with. You choose.
I got it.
Any discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That is carried. Thank you.
HH5, Madam Chair and legislators, is amending the Department of Social Services 2024 budget to accept funds from the New York State in the form of Safe Harbor, New York, and to contract with Booker T. Washington Community Center for the provision of Safe Harbor services. Safe Harbor Services offers education, advocacy for those kinds of situations where individuals, children or adults may be in situations where they are vulnerable to kidnapping, abuse, being taken from community home, etc. Booker T. Washington has been our contracted service for many years, and DSS is very satisfied with the work they do with this.
Thank you. Can I get a motion?
I'll move it, HH5.
Second?
A second.
Any discussion on HH5? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Madam Chair, I have another proposal for bundling. These are for contract renewals that we have as a county worked with for many years confidently and with competent results from the agencies we've worked with. So this would include HH6, HH7, HH13, HH16, HH17, and HH8.
Okay.
We're age complete.
Did you say 8 or 18?
18.
18.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you said 8.
Sorry about that. I did say 8, but 18.
Okay, bundle 6, 7, 13, 16, 17, and 18.
Yes.
Get a motion on that bundle.
Make a motion?
Second? Do any discussion on this bundle? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Madam Chair, HH9 was pulled. HHS authorizes the legislature to create and the Social Services Commission to fill a paralegal specialist at grade 16 position in the Department of Social Services. I'd like to note that this is an additional paralegal, and it does not exclude that we still have the fill for the 2 attorneys. But in order to bring this forward, consideration was made by department to abolish a position in order to create a wash in the 2024 budget. Also, this position of paralegal was approved in the 2024 budget. It was budgeted.
Thank you. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a
motion. Second?
Yep.
Any discussion on this paralegal? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
I oppose.
You oppose.
HH 13, authorizing Cayuga County Legislature and the Director of the Office of Aging to create and fill a part-time aging services assistant position and abolish a part-time aging services specialist position in the Office of Aging.
13.
With some innovation.
We included 13 in the bundle prior.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, with the, okay, I'm sorry.
You do need to do 12.
Okay. So we're at 14.
12.
12. Authorizing the filling of 1 part-time compliance officer position at the Cayuga County Community Mental Health Center. And this is due to a retirement of our full-time compliance officer. Retirement will be happening sometime around February. We were informed by the department head that because of the time that the current compliance officer has put into this work, she will be able to come back at a part-time hourly rate, which matches her former salary, and complete what is needed by that department.
I get a motion for HH 12.
Make a motion?
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, that's carried.
Aye.
I'm sorry.
Opposed.
Thank you. Noted. That's carried. Thank you. We're at 14.
Okay. Authorizing the chair of the county legislature and director of the youth bureau to execute agreements with various agencies to provide youth development services for youth team sports. The youth advisory board met. They had monies to look at from the state that were specifically tied to sports activities. And there were 3 programs that were selected and with monies that would meet at this point the amount of funds available, with other funds that can be looked at as more applications come through. The entire Youth Advisory Council voted unanimously as they looked at these applications and looked at these programs.
I'll make a motion for 14.
I'll second it, Mark.
Okay, any discussion on 14? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. That may be everything.
And H19,
We need 15, and I think that.
we did bundle.
Okay.
Yeah.
You do need to do 15.
15 we do need.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did we get them all?
Can we do 15? Just have
We got
15.
15 out of 9.
We need to look at 15.
15's only one.
Authorizing the chairman of the legislature and the Commission of Social Services. This should have been in the bundle to enter into a contract with Cayuga Centers for the provision of services for restorative case management. Again, this is a long-term contract with an agency that is providing research validated services for young people who would otherwise perhaps be in court. This program diverts them from the family and criminal court system.
Okay, can I get a motion?
I'll move it.
I'll second it. Any discussion on this? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much. Legislator Muldrow, Government Operations.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have 3 resolutions. All 3 have passed through both committees. We got GO1, the Cayuga County changing the Cayuga County cell phone policy, amending the change.
Okay, can we get a motion
I'll
on
move that.
you? Second? Second. Any discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Second one is GO2, authorizing a contract with the former deputy county clerk to provide assistance to the current county clerk.
Nightingale, move it.
Need a second? I'll second. Any discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's carried. Thank you.
So the next one is our resolution. I'm not on my phone, anybody, I'm just trying to throw some notes, okay? Juneteenth resolution, but I'd like to make a statement prior. So the first thing I want to say is that, you know, Juneteenth holiday not coming to fruition to this point is absolutely no one's fault. It's not the previous chair's fault, it's not the previous body's fault. It's just it's something that takes progress, and we're at that point. So at this point, you know, I want to look at what we do from today on with Juneteenth. So I did took some notes of how me personally I felt when it wasn't recognized nationally and statewide as a holiday. I felt empty. And I felt a sense of pride when it was recognized as a holiday. And then when the county we didn't get it done as a county, me personally, I felt disappointed. Not disappointed disappointed in a way where a teacher would be disappointed in a student or is a parent into a child. I was that type of disappointment that we all have felt. So I also want to say that we have a chance to get it right based on our history of Auburn and Cayuga County. We have a tremendous amount of history here, and today we can get it right. I want to get in this repeat again. It was nobody's fault. It wasn't the previous chair, it wasn't the previous legislature, it wasn't negotiations between the 2 unions. It just didn't happen. For the people that believe that Juneteenth is a black holiday, you're wrong. Juneteenth is an American holiday. It's as American as baseball. It's American as American pie. It's American as we sit here every day and do our pledge. We pledge allegiance to one flag. As Pastor Freeman said, there's also some white bodies and black and brown bodies in Fort Hill Cemetery. This is an American holiday, period. For those that will say, well, it's going to cost our county money,
It's gonna cost our county some distress being shut down. What I want to tell you is I want to thank our county workers from the social services that provide the standard of living and try to help people with assistance, to our sheriff's department that protect us every day, to the county workers that come here and make sure our government is functioning and our county functioning. They are drastically underpaid and overworked, but their commitment to the county is strong. And I want to thank them. And if you could look at it like we might be losing anything, I would like to tell you that as far as dollars, they deserve this day off as well. And I would like to be the first to say to all of our county employees and people that serve the county, happy Juneteenth. And I hope you celebrate this with everyone that you know and love, like you would do any other holiday. Thank you.
Yeah.
So. You're supposed to charge my phone, it died, obviously.
Sorry.
All right, so we have GO three is designated June 19th, Juneteenth Independence Day, recognized June 19th, 1865, the date in which news of the end of slavery reached the slaves in the Southwest. As a resolution to recognize that let our chair go into negotiations, and our negotiations might be minimal, but to allow her to open up the conversation to make this a holiday.
Nightingale, move it.
I'll second. Discussion. Yes.
I'd like to take the opportunity to say thank you to all the folks that stood up today and spoke on behalf of Juneteenth. I think their words were well thought, and I think their words to be listened to and heard for, an ageless amount of time. For them, and I say thank you. I also find my job as a legislator is to look at things financially. I think that's the job of a legislator. And I would like to just point out that the current county is afforded 12 paid holidays. This would bring a 13th paid holiday to the county employees. Some of the employees that we have that are that have to work on holidays because of their jobs. This would create an overtime situation for them. They would have to be paid time and a half. So as a legislator, I have to look at that financially, and I'd like to make sure that that is not forgotten. But I will publicly say that I do support Juneteenth and the things that it represents and the people in the past that it shows respect to. So with that, thank you for the time, Madam Chair.
Any other comments, discussion? Yes.
Yeah, basically, I'm gonna vote no on it. And the reason is not out of disrespect for the Black community, but the cost. I've estimated somewhere around $150,000 for that day that we're gonna get no production out of. So I would support this if this was brought up without a holiday without pay. Just a holiday, period, so you could celebrate. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Request a roll call vote, please.
Okay, roll call vote on GO3.
Jonathan Anna,
Aye.
Ben Vitale,
Yes.
Tom Winslow,
Aye.
Bob Shay,
Aye.
Hans Petcher,
No.
Mark Strong,
Aye.
Heidi Nightingale,
Aye.
Elaine Daly,
Yes.
Stephanie DeVito,
Yes.
Brian Muldrow,
Yes.
Aileen McNabb Coleman.
Yes.
Passed.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to
Planning and Public Works resolutions with legislator Vitale.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Planning Public Works has 13 resolutions. Most all have gone through both committees. One went through only one committee, but it's kind of an emergency. So I'd like to start out by bundling PPW 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, and 11.
Okay, can we get a motion on that bundle?
Make a motion?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on this bundle? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They're carried. Thank you.
PPW 8 is authorized the purchase of the highway equipment that was budgeted for in the 2024 budget. So I'd look for a motion for PPW 8.
Move it.
Second, Mark.
Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Thank you.
PPW 9 and 12 are concerning the parks and trails. One is for the increase in the wages for the museum aides. And the other is for the resolution to, where am I here? I'm sorry. For the seasonal staff. Those are both
Motion.
very important for our, for the people that use our parks and trails.
I'll move that.
A second?
Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's carried.
And number 4 is PPW 2, which has been revised. I think it's been revised at least twice by now. But we had I think a great presentation earlier today in our meeting, and I think it cleared up a lot of questions that we had during our committee meeting. And I would like put forward PPW 2 at this time.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll move it.
I'll second.
Any discussion on this? Go ahead.
I think it's an excellent example of collaboration. And I'm looking forward to that kind of collaboration between the county and the city going forward.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's carried.
And finally, not least, PPW 13. I believe it went through Ways and Means. It's been revised at least twice since then, but I think it's all encompassed in the current resolution that's in front of us. And I would put forward PPW 13 for a motion at this time.
A motion.
I'll move it.
Any discussion?
No, and that the amendment included contracting for more work for the architectural design of the roof. That's the next phase that's got to happen, as well as paying the immediate $65,000 repair.
Correct. I think we all understand that the integrity of the entire roof is kind of an emergency at this point in time, and it has to be done, and we can't just cross our fingers and hope.
Right.
We'll all die.
I have a sense of urgency, but that's on another level.
Well, the night we were in here with a meeting,
Yes.
it was very loud, and we all thought, wow, the wind's really blowing, but
Little did we know the
realistically,
wind was coming.
the roof was flapping on our head. And then all of a sudden it got quiet. We said, wow, wind must have quieted down, you know? Nope. And the roof was gone.
Happy to get out of here.
They're worried about the windows.
So this requires a 2/3 vote because it's coming out of building repair reserve.
Fund balance, I think.
Fund balance.
Fund balance. Sorry, that was a
Doesn't-
change. Sorry,
Same
too many
thing.
meetings.
It doesn't need the 2/3 vote.
So we're set to go. Okay, can we get?
I mean, I thought it did coming out of fund balance, 2/3 vote and not
Fund balance.
the capital, right? 2/3, we do need a 2/3.
We do need a, okay, thank you. Okay,
I want to do it all, if everyone's in favor.
we're gonna do it all in favor.
Aye.
Any opposed? That is carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, legislator Anna for judicial public safety.
Madam Chair, Judicial and Public Safety Committee has 8 resolutions. JP 7 was tabled as judicial, JP 6 amended. JP 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9 is a bundle unless anyone would like them separated and moved on.
I'll second. Any discussion on this bundle? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's carried. Before we adjourn, I just wanted to turn your attention back to PPW 10. We changed Emerson Park fee rates to reflect reduction for seniors, veterans, and disabled. So I'm really pleased at the legislature for including that in tonight's meeting. So thank you. Any other business to go before the board this evening? Oh, that was good. Wonderful. On that note, motion to adjourn.
Move it.
Second.
Second.
Favor?